All right, all right. Hey, trust you are doing well. Wanted to just shoot a quick update video, kind of some of the things that we're tracking on. One of the things that we're looking at is, what's going on with apartment demand and, affordability. So if you look at over the past year, 2025 into 2026, there's definitely been a suppression or supply hit that's taken place in many markets in the Southeast and the mountain states. And that's due to a fact of just building, 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 building. So, I mean, again, if you're in, where we're at here in Tampa, Florida, or throughout the Southeast or out in the mountain states, you've seen just everywhere popping up, new apartment buildings. And so, as a result of that, there's new supply that has come into a lot of markets. And then what has happened additionally is that supply all hit at once, and to be absorbed, the builders, instead of, going vacant, they were offering, many cases, we saw 3-4 months free rent. So just as an example of math, if they're offering a unit at $2,400, but then they're offering, 4 months off rent, that's, basically 10 grand off, which is about $800 a month. And so if you do the math on 2,400, that's really 1,600 per month on rent, if you're tracking. So what that does is it starts to put pressure on surrounding areas with B-class properties that are offering 1,500-1,600 rent, because, in a net reality, by them giving away 4 months free, it reduces their effective rent from 2,400 to 1,600. So that put a negative pressure on rents in a lot of markets, and we've seen that throughout the Southeast, in Texas, in, the mountain states, New Mexico, Arizona, out there. That had been a reality of seeing those oversupplies coming in. Now, what's happening is that supply is starting to be absorbed, and the projections with CoStar are that it's, like about a 0.4% rent growth in those areas. And so now, again, it's market by market. So trust me, it's not exactly the same in every area. Like, for example, here in Tampa area, it's a -3% this past year, but yet there still is a housing shortage, meaning there's an undersupply of affordable housing units. And if you look at nationally, there still is an estimate or discussion that ranges anywhere from 4.7 to 7.7 of affordable housing units. And so again, what that means is there's still a demographic demand for affordable places to live. There's been a short-term or temporary oversupply, which has put a suppression on rent growth. And so you see some people, talking and squawking about, oh my gosh, and the rents are this up and that and that. And it's like, in the majority of markets, that's not been the case. Now, that being said, it doesn't change the structural long-term value of rental properties, and the fact that we're moving to a renter-based nation, and the fact that we're in a situation where majority of people need an affordable place to live. So those are all reality constraints that are still there existing. But I also wanted to share the reality of what we've seen and what we've gone through. And we've shared this in previous, newsletters and information that we've seen about the building supply that's coming in. But I wanted to comment on it. And the good news is that that's starting to taper off and been burned up, meaning the oversupply is being absorbed. Rent growth is then, stabilizing. It's still fragile, but stabilizing. And then, the opportunity for that to move forward. Now, the other piece of it, as we've talked of before, is that you still see distressed properties coming into the market. And so that's going to also then put an opportunity in place where you have properties coming into play that present a significant opportunity because of the fact that they're coming from a distress function, either pre-foreclosure, actual foreclosure, or, short sale with the lender. I was talking with the broker the other day where the guy's basis was 140, the lender was 110, and they were looking at taking numbers at 60. And so again, we're starting to see those type of transactions coming into the market, and that's going to present opportunity because you've got, stabilization of rents, and then you have distressed opportunities coming. It really presents a great opportunity. So just wanted to, kind of update you with what we're looking at, what we're seeing, and what we see on the horizon. So you have a blessed and victorious week, for this is the week God has ordained for you.